The seasoned mafia boss, Vito Genovese, was renowned for his sharp intellect and uncanny ability to spot deception. His piercing gaze could cut through lies and deceit, making him a formidable force in the criminal underworld. Was Vito really outsmarted, or did he simply play along? You decide. Let's get started. But even the most astute mafia boss can be taken by surprise when a cunning opponent uses psychological manipulation to outsmart him. That is exactly what happened to Vito Genovese when he found himself face to face with a master manipulator who turned the tables on him. Join us as we delve into the captivating story of how Vito Genovese got outsmarted by a master manipulator. Law enforcement's relentless pursuit and rivalries within the mafia created a complex web of threats. It was in these moments of peril that Vito's true brilliance shone through. To his associates, he was a symbol of power and wealth, and they moved and dealt under his watchful gaze. But behind this facade of invincibility, Vito harbored a vulnerability he never thought could be exploited. His sharp intellect and uncanny ability to anticipate his opponent's moves made him a formidable force. The prospect of expanding his empire was too tempting to resist, and he decided to take the bait. He spoke of untapped markets and lucrative ventures that would open new horizons for Vito's criminal enterprise. His words were carefully chosen to appeal to Vito's sense of power and greed, and he painted a picture of unimaginable wealth and influence. What followed was a series of events that would lead them both into a dangerous game of cat and mouse. The seed of ambition had been planted, and Carlos, the master manipulator, knew exactly how to water it. He presented himself as a man who could open doors that Vito could only dream of. A partner who could navigate the treacherous waters of the international underworld with ease. He found himself questioning loyalties, second-guessing decisions, and isolating himself from those closest to him. He became the shoulder Vito leaned on, offering words of comfort and counsel that only amplified Vito's distrust. With each sympathetic word, Carlos strengthened his hold over Vito, entangling them deeper in a web of manipulation. In doing so, he inadvertently played right into Carlos's scheme, weakening his empire from within. He navigated the treacherous waters of the criminal underworld with finesse, often staying several steps ahead of the authorities. He knew how to make an entrance that would capture Vito's attention and set the stage for his grand scheme. His lieutenants, sensing the shift in power, began to make their own moves. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Alliances were tested, and the foundations of Vito's authority were shaken. Have you ever wondered how much your favorite sports stars actually earn? Well, here's the secret truth. Carlos, with his silver tongue and charming demeanor, insinuated himself into Vito's inner circle. The master manipulator had successfully turned the tables using Vito's own strengths against him. While Vito was known for his ability to spot lies and manipulate others, Carlos had managed to exploit his weaknesses, playing on his fears and insecurities. He hinted at conspiracies, painting a picture of a world where everyone was a potential enemy. The man he had trusted with his fortune and his life was the very person who had orchestrated his downfall. His sharp intellect and manipulative skills were turned against him by a master manipulator who understood his weaknesses better than he did. The downfall of Vito was a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most cunning can be outsmarted by those who know how to exploit their vulnerabilities. But it was too late. The damage was done. And as Vito's paranoia grew, he became more susceptible to Carlos's manipulations. He became a trusted advisor, whispering words that played upon Vito's vulnerabilities and reinforced his biases. As their paths collided, Carlos wasted no time in making his presence felt. He had come to play a deadly game of chess, and he was already several moves ahead. Vito, caught up in the intoxicating allure of limitless possibilities, failed to notice the subtle cues that could have alerted him to the danger lurking beside him. With a disarming smile and an air of confidence, he approached Vito, extending an offer that seemed too good to be true. He proposed a business opportunity that promised immense profits, an offer that was like a siren's call to the ambitious Vito. However, as fate would have it, even a mastermind like Vito Genovese could fall prey to a cunning opponent who used psychological manipulation to gain the upper hand. Vito Genovese, the legendary mafia boss from the 20th century, was known for his sharp intellect and ruthless efficiency. Just an ordinary day in the life of a mafia boss, or so it seemed, Vito Genovese, confident in his power and influence, had settled into his routine, believing himself to be at the pinnacle of success. He was a master manipulator, skilled in the art of deception and psychological warfare. His name was Carlos Cortez, a notorious international con artist with a long history of preying on the powerful and influential. Carlos had set his sights on Vito Genovese, and he had come prepared with a plan that would unravel the very fabric of Vito's empire. He had built an empire that many would envy, and he felt invincible. But little did he know that beneath the surface, a storm was brewing. He was a powerful figure in the Genovese crime family, one of the 5 major mafia families in the United States. Vito's rise to power was marked by strategic planning and calculated decision-making. Born in 1897 in Italy, Vito's journey to becoming a feared crime boss was a tale of ambition and audacity. His early life in Little Italy, New York, was a breeding ground for the criminal enterprise that would consume his adulthood. By the time he reached his late teens, Vito had already dipped his toes into the world of organized crime, aligning himself with notorious figures like Giuseppe Joe Masiria. As the years rolled on, Vito's strategic brilliance and ruthless efficiency became evident. He orchestrated lucrative bootlegging operations during the Prohibition era, amassing a fortune that would make him a force to be reckoned with. His empire expanded, infiltrating unions, gambling dens, and narcotics rings. By the mid-20th century, Vito Genovese had solidified his position as the boss of one of the 5 most powerful mafia families in the United States. He was a master strategist who could anticipate his opponent's moves and formulate effective counter-strategies. This made him a formidable force in the criminal underworld. However, Vito's downfall began when he encountered a cunning opponent who used psychological manipulation to gain the upper hand. Despite his reputation for being able to spot lies, Vito found himself trapped in a web of deceit that ultimately led to his demise. This raises the question, how did this renowned mafia boss lose his empire to a manipulator? In the annals of mafia history, few figures loom as large as Vito Genovese. But Vito's rise to power was not without its challenges. The encounter that would lead to Vito's downfall began with an air of normalcy. As Vito went about his daily activities, he exuded an aura of authority that commanded respect and fear in equal measure. It was during one of these seemingly mundane days that Vito crossed paths with an enigmatic character who would change everything. The newcomer was no ordinary individual. Their initial meeting was carefully orchestrated by Carlos, who had meticulously studied Vito's habits and routines. Unaware of the danger that lurked beneath Carlos's charming exterior, Vito found himself intrigued. In the meticulously planned narrative of their meeting, Carlos wove a tale that resonated with Vito's desires and ambitions. As Vito listened, his mind raced with possibilities. Could this be the key to taking his empire to new heights? But beneath this facade of camaraderie, Carlos's true intentions were far from innocent. In the ensuing days, Carlos and Vito's partnership seemed to flourish, leading them deeper into the labyrinth of Vito's criminal empire. It was during these moments of camaraderie that Carlos subtly began to sow the seeds of doubt and suspicion. With each passing day, Vito's trust in his own associates waned, replaced by a gnawing uncertainty fueled by Carlos's insinuations. As Vito's internal struggles intensified, Carlos expertly manipulated the situation, positioning himself as the voice of reason and support. But amidst this psychological turmoil, there were signs that Vito's empire was crumbling. Despite the warning signs, Vito remained trapped in the clutches of Carlos's manipulation, unable to see the bigger picture. As Vito's empire crumbled around him, he realized the gravity of his mistake. In the end, Vito Genovese was brought down by the same tools he had wielded so effectively for years. Now let us move on to a lighter topic and talk about something that I know you were interested in. Did you find this interesting? I certainly did. Don't forget to check out more videos. We've got plenty more where that came from.